Can I ask you something? Have you ever spent so much time trying to make the right decision that eventually you made no decision at all? That's what this video is about. Not motivation, not hustle. The quiet cost of indecision and why so many smart, capable women freeze right before the moment that matters the most. Changing jobs, starting a business, leaving a relationship, negotiating your salary, making your first investment, or simply saying no without the feeling of guilt afterwards. You told yourself you were just being careful. You wanted more information, a little more certainty, another option, a little more time, and somehow weeks became months, months became years. By the end of this video, I'll give you 3 simple questions, the same 3 I come back to whenever I feel stuck. They won't make every decision easy, but they will help you tell the difference between the decision that needs more thought and one that's just being delayed by fear. Have you ever noticed you are somehow expected to remember everything? Birthdays, appointments, groceries, the messages you still need to reply to? Who needs encouragement? Who isn't speaking to whom? And somewhere in the middle of all that, you are also expected to think clearly about your own future. That is exhausting. Not because you are weak, because your mind has been running in the background all day, every day. Psychologists call this the mental load. I think of it as invisible decision making. Hundreds of tiny choices every single day until your brain starts treating every new decision like one decision too many. So something quieter happens. You stop trusting yourself, not all at once, little by little. You ask one friend, then another. You watch another video, read another article, compare another option. And before long, your own voice becomes the quietest one in the room. That is the real cost. It's not really indecision. It's disconnection from your own self, from yourself. Children make decisions quickly. They run towards what excites them. They walk away from what they don't like. They speak honestly. They charge indefinitely. They change their mind without shame. Then somehow, as adults, we become slower. Not because life got more complicated, because somewhere along the way, we learned that every important decision needed approval from our parents, our friends, our partner, society, people who will never have to live with the outcome somehow are so important that they are required to give their approval. You already know what you want. Deep down, you know. But instead of acting, you start collecting opinions. One friend says yes, another says no. A podcast says wait, a book says leap. And before long, you don't have more clarity. You just have more confusion. Because you have replaced your own judgment with everyone else's. For years, many women have been rewarded for being agreeable, for keeping the peace, for thinking about everyone else's needs before their own. So when it's finally time to make a decision that serves you, it can feel selfish even when it is not. That's why so many capable women hesitate. They hesitate before asking for more income, more responsibility, more freedom, not because they aren't capable, because somewhere inside they are still waiting for permission. And permission is a dangerous habit, because once you start needing it, once you start feeding on permission, you will keep waiting for someone else to hand it to you. Most never will. Here is something I used to misunderstand and thought decisive people were fearless. They are not. They feel uncertainty just like everyone else. The difference is they don't let uncertainty make the decision for them. Here is why. Imagine two women are offered the exact same investment opportunity, same risk, same potential reward. One immediately thinks, what if I lose money? The other asks, does this move me closer to the life I am building? Same opportunity, completely different decision, because they are answering from different places. One is deciding from fear, the other is deciding from identity, from a clear sense of who she is becoming. That one shift changes everything. A study worth knowing. There is a fascinating area of research on how we think about our future selves. Researchers have found that our brain often responds to our future self almost like we are thinking about a stranger, a different person entirely. That might explain why it's so easy to postpone investing, to delay asking for the raise in salary, in commissions, in your remuneration, to keep saying, I will start next year. Emotionally, future you feels distant, like she will somehow figure it out on her own, but she won't. She will simply inherit whatever you choose today or whatever you avoid today. So here is a small exercise. Imagine meeting the woman you will become in 10 years. Not to judge her, just to ask her one question. What decision do you wish you would have made sooner? I think most of us already know the answer, we just don't like hearing it. Most difficult decisions aren't actually about this week or this month. They are about identity. Every investment says something about what you value. Every boundary says something. Every yes and every no. They are all quietly answering the same question. Who am I becoming? That's the real discussion. That is your real decision. Everything else is just paperwork. And once your values are clear, your decisions get quieter, not easier, quieter. Because you stop arguing with every option. You simply ask, does this belong in the life I am trying to build? So here are the 3 questions I promised you. Nothing fancy, just 3. Questions I have come back whenever I feel stuck in my life, whenever I feel I am getting unclear, I am confused, I feel noise around me. Here is the first question. Does this decision belong to the man I am becoming or to the man I have been? Sometimes we stay in the job because the old version of us was afraid to leave. Sometimes we keep saying yes because the younger version of us needed approval. You're allowed to outgrow your old beliefs. I hope you do. The second question. Will my future self quietly thank me for this? Not tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Imagine myself sitting across from me, would I ask to stay comfortable, or would I ask myself to be brave just this once? The third question, and probably the hardest one: am I making this decision, or is fear making it for me? Be careful here, because fear is clever. It rarely sounds dramatic. It doesn't say, don't do it. It says things like, let's wait until the market settles. Let's save a little more before investing. Let's wait until I feel more confident. Fear almost always speaks the language of reason. That's what makes it so convincing. Not because it's right, because it sounds responsible. Sometimes waiting really is wise, but sometimes waiting is simply fear wearing good manners. Here is the part most people miss. Once you have honestly asked yourself those 3 questions, make the decision and then respect it. Don't interrogate. Don't interrogate yourself every evening. Don't replay every possible outcome. Don't reopen the same door just because anxiety knocked in. Overthinking isn't always wisdom. Sometimes it's just fear asking for one more word. A decision should free your mind, not become its permanent tenant. I think we have been taught something backwards. That confidence comes first and action comes second, so we wait to feel ready before we negotiate, invest, leave, or begin. But the psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying confidence, and his research pointed to something simple. Confidence isn't built before action, it's built because of action. Think about something you once believed you couldn't do. Driving, starting a new job, speaking in the front of people, on the mic. Today, those things probably feel ordinary. Not because they were easy, because you did them anyway. Action builds confidence. Waiting never does. People imagine remarkable lives are built in big, dramatic moments. I don't think they are. I think they are built on ordinary Tuesday mornings, on hundreds of small decisions nobody applauds, saving instead of spending, investing instead of waiting, having the hard conversation, asking for the raise, saying no without apologizing for it. None of those moments feel historic when they are happening. But one day you will look back and realize they quietly built your entire life. Not one big decision, thousands of small ones, all pointing the same direction. That's how confidence gets built. That's how wealth gets built. Quietly, repeatedly, almost invisibly, until one day other people call you lucky. They never saw the decision, only the result before you decide again. So the next time life puts something difficult decision or moment in front of you, try not to ask, what if this goes wrong? Ask instead, if I already trusted myself, what would I choose? Then pause. Listen. Your answer might not be loud, but it's already there. It's just been buried under everyone else's opinion for a long time. Maybe today is the day you hear your own voice again. A remarkable life isn't created by people who never feel afraid. It's created by people who stop letting fear make their decisions for them. You don't need permission to become who you are capable of becoming. You don't need certainty to take the first step. You just need a little more trust in your own values than in your doubts. So the next time you are facing a decision, come back to your 3 questions. Does this belong to who I am becoming or who I have been? Will my future self thank me? And am I deciding, or is fear deciding for me? Build your confidence quietly. Protect your peace and trust yourself a little more than you did yesterday. I'll see you in the next one.